Howdy folks, Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here with a look at your tropical update for August 31st of 2020. That's right, we made it all the way through August with little consequence here in South Mississippi, which is always a good thing. Brought to you by the folks over there at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling. Taking a peek into the tropics right now. We've got a couple of areas that we're keeping tabs on. We've got Invest 99L here, newly minted Tropical Depression 15 here. Got a wave that's not really doing much right there, and then we've actually got another wave back in behind that one. We'll start off here to the north. Tropical Depression 15, newly minted, wind currently 35, gusting to 45, moving northeast and away from the United States at about 10-15 miles an hour. We'll call it 12 right now. 190 miles off to the south-southwest of Cape Hatteras there in North Carolina. This is going to whip up some surf for the Outer Banks. But outside of that, it shouldn't really pose much of a concern to folks in the United States, at least in the mainland. Taking a peek further out into the tropics, a 70 to 80% chance of development here on Invest 99L. This one most likely going to make kind of a beeline for Belize and the Latin American kind of coastline, Honduras, northern Nicaragua, stuff like that. And I've got to say that most of the models do take this into the Yucatan, and from there, some of them take it south and into the Pacific. Others get it into the Bay of Campeche. It's pretty broken up. Other models kind of like to take it into kind of like this kind of area and then have it kind of fall apart across parts of Mexico. So worth watching because there is a little area of high pressure to the north that may open the door. We'll talk about that here in a second for it to sneak a little further off to the north. Next wave back in behind that, to 30% chance of development as we head through the next 5 days here, coming off of the African coast. I will say this, 3 waves in a row, I believe almost 4, maybe 4 waves in a row that have come off the African coast that have looked very robust and within the modeling have appeared to be something that was worth watching. Have all fizzled. So let's keep this trend going. We can't bank on that, but we can hope. We can hope that that trend continues. All right, back over here. I wanted to highlight. I probably should have run this before I started talking about that other wave. But back to 99L here. We've got a ridge of high pressure, and you can kind of see the flow moving kind of that way, and the flow kind of moving this direction. And so we got kind of a little ridge of high pressure kind of right in here, and then we've got another ridge way out here. But this is going to be slowly sliding to the east, as is a lot of the stuff out here. And so there may come a time, depending on how things work themselves out through the next 48 hours, that you get a little bit of a weakness in this ridge kind of right in here. And that may allow 99L to sneak across and into the Yucatan, and it gets into the Bay of Campeche, across the Yucatan into the Bay of Campeche. And then depending on how this ridge moves, does it move northeast, does it move east-northeast, does it not move as far, we still kind of have to wait and see. That may allow it to either move into Mexico or kind of drag up the coast and bring rain. We're not talking about any kind of major hurricane, but rain to parts of South Texas and the places that kind of just dodged Hurricane Laura. So a majority of the thought is right now that this gets into the Yucatan, Belize, Ecuador, and kind of either slides into the Pacific or doesn't really do much of anything. But it is worth watching as we head through the next couple of days. And you can kind of see that in our 700 millibar moisture 850 vorticity guidance here from the GFS, which takes it kind of into Central America, 99L into Central America with the dry air and the high pressure in place across the Gulf, and nothing. And so that's the good news. We would like to see not only it going toward Central America as something that's broken up and not very well organized, which it does show here, but that it doesn't get into the Bay of Campeche either. Behind that, we got a whole mess of dry air out here to deal with. Another wave coming off the coast of Africa. That's the one that we highlighted a couple of seconds ago. Notice that doesn't really do anything. Even the wave back in behind it doesn't really do anything. But what does happen as we head through kind of the end of the first week of September is the ridge, our fullback as I like to call it, gone. No more big ridge of high pressure hanging out in the Gulf of Mexico or off the southeast. Instead, what we start to see is a big ridge of high pressure develop up here, and what that does is it kind of guides things toward, unfortunately, the United States in the southeast. So whatever does develop out here, instead of turning north and going back around and staying out to sea, would have more of a tendency to continue on its trek off to the west. So that is something, while nothing imminent, something worth watching as we head through the next about week to week and a half to 2 weeks and beyond. So there's a look at your tropical update for August 31st of 2020, brought to you by the folks over there at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling.